Hey, this is Stacia. I'm going to show you the Evergreen Game, which is a really famous game and a really good one. I showed this at chess camp, and so I want to do this as a recap that my chess campers can watch, but also for you guys, because this is just too good of a game, right? So if you haven't seen it, buckle your seatbelt. I will be asking you a couple questions, so get ready. Okay, so we have Adolf Anderssen against Jean Dufresne. This is 1852. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, and bishop to C4. So we have an Italian game here. Black has two moves. They can go knight to F6 or bishop to C5. Black chose bishop C5. And now Anderssen played my personal favorite move, B4, Evans Gambit. Yeah, so this is a really nice gambit. Now, why are you going B4? Well, to understand that, you have to understand the move pawn to C3. If you go pawn to C3, the idea is to go D4 and try to build the strong pawn center here. And so like a normal move would be like knight to F6, D4, takes, check, and something like this. And white will preserve the center here. And yeah, it's a game, you know. I think white has a slight edge there, I'd say. But so now you know the idea to go D4. Well, pawn to B4 was Captain Evans' invention on the open seas, by the way. He was actually like sailing on the seas when he came up with this. B4. And now when they take with the bishop, notice that you're capturing a pawn. Yes, I get that. Okay, but you're not developing your knight. You're not freeing up your bishop with D6. You're not moving your rook. You're not closer to castling. So you're moving the same piece twice. And now pawn C3. So it's the same idea, but you're kind of like doing it in a forcing way. And then like, for example, if they go bishop C5 and takes, here, castle, takes. I mean, there's already tricks. If they get too greedy and grab that, which is a third pawn, then you already have check here, check, that's a fork. Oops, there's already arrows there. So, you know, maybe they go like queen here, we take, D6, we take. And this is like a borderline winning position for white already, even though we're still down a pawn. The king will never castle, and we've got a little more center space, better activity in general. And yeah, this is not what black was dreaming of when they played against this. So let's go back now that you understand kind of what we're doing here. And so after B4 takes pawn C3 by Anderssen and bishop A5. Now this is the main line. And I don't even want to say like the idea behind this move because I hate to see it when I play Evans Gambit. A lot of people I know are going to watch this video, so I'm not going to tell you what black's idea is with that move. So, okay, sorry about that. So D4, this is the idea of Evans Gambit. We fight for the center. Takes and castle. Can anybody tell me why we didn't take the center right away? Pause your video if you don't know. Okay, but those of you that didn't pause your video were like, obviously that's illegal because that's pinned. Yeah, that's true. It is pinned. So that's why white castles here. And now black has a choice. I mean, they can try to take that pawn and just be two pawns up. But Dufresne, he played D3, which I actually respect more. This is a more respectful move. It prevents white from taking the center, but it's also a disruption move. And what I mean is it disrupts some of white's easy development. Like I would normally go like queen B3 and then knight C3. These are like two moves that are pretty normal. But now I can't really go knight C3 because there's a pawn there. So it's awkward. It's like I have to go here, but if I go there, I block my bishop. So maybe I should get my bishop out first. Like you get what I mean? It's like not as harmonious as it was before. So Anderssen played queen B3. This does attack F7. So queen F6 to protect it. And now E5. I do like E5 a lot. This follows one of those chess principles which says if you're better developed when your opponent's king is in the center, you know, you should open the position. How do we open the position? Well, we push pawns and we capture pawns. And that is how you open it. So he went e5, which now the e file is closer to being open. Queen g6, rook e1, knight g to e7, and now bishop a3. A very Evans Gambit-y move. Why am I saying that? Well, when you play b4, you do remove the pawn from b2. So now you have this move available. Sometimes it attacks a pinned piece. Sometimes it prevents black from castling. It does a lot of different things, but bishop a3 is a nice resource. And also rook b1. Okay, the knight would have to move. But rook b1, rook b1, rook b... Okay, sorry, I'm not going to sing it. Rook b1, and you do have this half-open file for your rook as well. So these are more active ideas that you have due to sacrificing the b pawn early in the game. So, all right, bishop a3 here, b5. Okay, let's talk about this move because I don't think it's the best, but I think black was very scared here, and they're a master, and maybe they're a player like me, and they're like, I'd rather just make it crazy, and I'll try to outcalculate Anderson. That's probably how I would approach it. So I don't think that b5 is a move he played lightly. I think he was a little desperate and maybe not wanting to go into lines where he castles and runs into some problems to figure out. So he went b5, Anderson took, and now rook b8 and queen a4. Black's a little more active on the queen side now. However, the king's still in the center. So he goes bishop b6. I mean, why did he do that? I know there's a good reason. I think the reason is if we take here, and he takes with a knight, I can then take the bishop. I think that's the main reason. So that would mean that the king would end up in the center, right? If he has to take with a king. So I think that's the main reason. Bishop e6 and knight to d2. Bishop b7, lining up some kind of mean ideas on g2, right? Like, it is possible to do mean things. And then knight to e4 does block the diagonal. All right, and now queen f5 and bishop takes d3, of course, because this does make a threat. We're actually threatening knight d6 check, I believe, because then we take the queen, so that would be good. So they go queen h5. All right, and now we are getting into the fun part of the game. So I want you to get your thinking cap on and get ready. It's white to move and play a very nice continuation. So if you would like, pause your video, see if you can find it. Okay, did you guys find it? Now my chess campers who saw this game this week are like, oh, I knew it, I'm smart. No, you remembered the move. Good job. Okay, you might be smart, but you remember the move. Yeah, it's knight to f6. This is a very nice move. It's a move that I think I could find, though. Maybe. The idea is that you're forking this, so the knight must be taken. You can't just lose your queen. So takes. And now the knight is attacked and pinned by the rook. So you will win material back. So knight f6 is not as risky as it looks. You will immediately win material back. But now black goes rook g8. And yeah, I mean, it pins the g-pawn. That means the knight is hanging now. This is pretty interesting. And Adolf Anderson didn't see that. So he played rook a to d1 and blundered a knight. Okay. In reality, I think Adolf Anderson definitely saw that the knight could be captured. And he calculated something incredible here. So if you want to pause your video and figure it out from here, like Adolf Anderson, go ahead and do so now, but be warned, it's not easy. Okay, and for the rest of us, after rook a d1, black did take the knight. All right, so now it's white to move, and I want you to think about checkmate. Think very hard about checkmate, because you know, if you're going to give up a knight on f3, you should be aware of checkmate for both sides. It's a not so subtle hint. So go ahead and pause your video if you like. Okay, and you're back. And yeah, the move is rook takes e7. You can't be slow here. I'm sorry. If you try something like, I don't know, I'm like, oh, I know, I want to capture the knight. Okay, good job. You know, you're going to get checkmated. So you can't do that. So instead of that, you must do something forcing like a check. Okay, but rook takes e7 check. No doubt Adolf Anderson had this all calculated, by the way. Knight takes. And now what to do? Black's still threatening checkmate. We need a check. Pause your video if you'd like to find the move. Okay, hopefully you found it. Queen takes d7 check. Of course, right? Like, one of my students actually mentioned bishop e4, and I think that's a very valiant try. Because now if black tries to checkmate, we will take. I mean, this is not going to be good enough at all, right? But the problem after bishop e4 is I think that black has rook takes g2. Now, if you go here, that's easy to find checkmate. But if they go here, I actually thought maybe, yeah, I think we can put the rook anywhere in the g file. Like something like, I was actually thinking something like, I don't know, like here. Because I'm also checking this, and if the bishop moves, maybe I'll check the queen. But I thought after this, we take with the bishop, and that's checkmate. So it doesn't work. It almost works, but it doesn't work. So bishop e4 is too slow. Got to be very, very skeptical of moves that are not like checks or captures in a position like this. So the real move is queen takes d7. Yeah, sacrifice the queen. Okay, yeah, sacrifice the queen. Why not? Why not? Because you're down to queen. Yeah, but they take back because there's no other choice. If you want to go here, okay, I can find that checkmate. So they must go somewhere else. So take it. And now it's up to white to find the right move. Hopefully you found bishop f5. If you go bishop b5, okay, I didn't look at the engine with this, but I do understand that if they go here, this is going to lead to checkmate. I think that is pretty good. But what about this move? I'm actually concerned about that. So I will turn on the engine. It says mate in 7. Okay, so maybe I was wrong. It says rook e1 check. Huh? Rook e1 check. Oh, so this wins too. The other moves are... Oh, both moves do win. Okay, I use the engine, but both moves do win. So if you found that, you do get a pat on the back. I was wrong that king e6 escapes. But, okay, let's face it. This one's better. Now, if you go king to c6, that's checkmate, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is. Okay, and I thought if they go here, then we can go check here. And, okay, you can take with the bishop, I get that, but nobody likes to get checkmated by a pawn. That's checkmate too. All right, and, okay, all right, so let's go back. If they take and we go bishop f5, probably the best try is king e8. And now we can go check, and if they go here, it does give white a chance to mess up, because if you take with the pawn now, I do think this might survive. I'll look and see. Wow, it says -6 black's winning. So that's, yeah, you don't want to allow that. So, but we don't have to take with a pawn. We just take with the bishop, and that's checkmate. Notice the pawn guards the g7 square. So that is it. That's pretty much the Evergreen game. I'll do a quick recap because I like recaps if you don't know. So this was Evan's Gambit, and Black played this nice disruption move on d3. Anderson continued to put pressure on the black position. Played e5 quite early. Black sidestepped. But then bishop a3. And black went wrong with b5, if you ask me. They should simply castle. Or maybe go for something like d5. And probably be fine. End up material. But black went for this with counterplay. And now white has too much activity. Black coordinated on g2, but with the king in the center, it's not quite good enough. There's takes, and after queen h5, knight f6 check. They took it, but white wins material back because of the pin on the e7 knight. And now Adolf Anderson calculated amazingly, allowing queen takes f3. That's just too fun. I mean, not only does it take a knight, but threatens checkmate, but he allowed it because he's Adolf Anderson. So he already saw what was going to happen. The rook on d1 will protect the d7 square and the bishop that will inevitably end up there. So after queen takes, check, here, check, queen sacrifice, takes, check, and now it's just force mate. And we'll end with a pawn checkmate because no one wants to be checkmated by a pawn. Hope you enjoyed the Evergreen game. And this is Stacia. I'll see you next time. Bye.